It is Wednesday, July 16th. I am all set and ready. It's like 8:15 in the morning. I'm going to the DMV to renew my license, and then straight from there, I want to go to my doctor's appointment I have at 10. And then I'm going to drop off some film that I need to get developed. I want to go to Barnes & Noble's, get some work done. Let's go. So, I was going to go to the DMV, right? Renew my license because I'm technically driving with an expired license right now. But when I got there, the line was out the door. Instead, I came to this coffee and bagel place when I was in the parking lot at the DMV, and I decided to not go in. I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do for a little over an hour? And I saw this place was right by my doctor's office, so I came, I got a bagel. I got an Asiago bagel with regular cream cheese, and then I also got a iced vanilla latte with oat milk. So let's see if this is any good. That's really good. I've never had an Asiago bagel before. I'm hoping these bagels are good though. It looks good, it smells good. I love Asiago. That's so good. Okay. I got cream cheese all in my shirt. What? What? Do you see that? Oh my god. How did that even happen? Like, actually, maybe I have it on video. That's kind of disgusting. I'm kind of like grossed out right now. All right. Sorry, I have the air on. It is so hot out. But I'm all done at my appointment. Now I am going to go to the camera place I get my film developed at. Alright, I just got out of Barnes & Noble. As you guys saw, there was cute mugs. I saw the Edgar Allan Poe mug here the last time I was here, and it's just, I love that one. I also saw a really cute cat one that has all quotes from authors talking about cats.
The rebellion, which I haven't heard in ages. You were fostered?
Sorry, I'm listening to Fourth Wing. So, I refrained from getting a mug, even though I really wanted a mug, but I did get 3 books and a little something extra. So my something extra is this keychain. I have had my eyes on this keychain for months, for so long. I just think it's so cute. It's like a little bookstore and it says book club. This is the only book that I didn't come here for. I was looking around and I saw it and I just was like, you know what? I think I want that. I think I want to read it. And that is On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century by Timothy Snyder. I feel like this is a good read for us Americans at this point in time. So I'm actually really excited about it. It was only $12 and it's just over 100 pages and it's super tiny. So I feel like this will be a quick read and a very informational read. Yes. Then I got 2 books. The first book that I came in here for is My Friends by Friedrich Bachman. I don't know. Earlier this year I read A Man Called Uwe, and so good. And then I saw that he had this book coming out. This book just came out a couple months ago. I'm very excited for this. I feel like this would be a really good August read. So yes, and then this is a book that I've had on my mind for a while, but I haven't gotten around to picking it up, and that is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. Don't know if I'm saying that right. And this one's giving me kind of Summerween vibes. It's summery in the sense that it takes place on an island. It's been on my list, and I felt like for my Summerween book list, I think this would be a good one. So that is all I got. And then I also, of course, I went to Starbucks in there, and usually I get a coffee, but because I got a coffee from the place earlier, I got the passion iced tea lemonade, and my boyfriend got this before, and I really love it. It's so good. Oh my God. So right now I'm gonna head home, and I will talk to you guys once I get home. All right, guys, so it is a couple days later. And to end off this vlog, I wanted to do the mid-year freakout tag. I have never done this tag before. I never thought that I read enough at the midway point, or up to the midway point, where I had enough to talk about. And honestly, I've only read 15 books so far this year, which is better than previous years. I've been in quite a rut, so this year has been a really great reading year for me so far, and the fact that at the midway, or just a little bit past the midway point, me being at 15 books is actually really good. So my original goal for the year was 20 books. Seeing that I'm only 5 books away, I'm probably gonna up my goal to at least 30, if not maybe 35. We'll see. We will see. But I'm really having a great time reading this year, and I thought, let me do the mid-year freakout tag. So let's just get into it. I do have the physical books, but my bookshelf is a mess. So I'm just gonna put a picture somewhere, probably over here. First question is best book you've read so far in 2025. So I have given 3 books 5 stars so far this year. 2 of them I kind of gave 5 stars just because they're kind of like classic novels. First one being Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I genuinely did love this book. I've really liked all of the Harry Potter books, but this past book, it just kind of felt like things were really ramping up. Stakes were getting a lot higher. And it just felt... Also, by the way, I am currently reading the Harry Potter series for the first time and also watching the movies for the first time. So that's why at 25 years old, I'm talking about the 5th Harry Potter book like I've read it for the first time. And that's because I literally did just read it for the first time. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if this is a unpopular opinion, but I really didn't like the 5th movie. I feel like it leaves out so much from the book that I feel like are really important details. And I know it's a movie, they can't include everything in a 600-page book. Probably my least favorite Harry Potter movie thus far. I will say the book is one of the best books I've read so far in 2025. The other book that I gave 5 stars is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because again, I've never read the series, and I thought this was the first book in the series. I didn't realize The Magician's Nephew was the first book, so I kind of flopped on that. But it's not like I feel like that's a book you can read solo and not really need to read the other ones. I do want to read the rest of the series, but that book in particular, I gave 5 stars. I had a fun time. It felt like I was just a kid again reading these stories. It was so fantastical, and I just loved it. So 5 stars. And then the book that I really have loved so far this year is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I don't know. Oh my God, this book just is amazing. Blew me out of the water. Just following this one man, and we see him in present day, living in this neighborhood in a house by himself, seemingly grumpy, set in his ways, old man. And then we get to learn more about him, more about his past, more about his love and all of that. And we learn about his past as we see him develop these relationships with the people in his neighborhood, and it's just so heartwarming. I literally loved this book so much. So the next question is best sequel you've read so far, and technically the only sequel or like book in a series that I've read this year is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would call it a sequel, but obviously it's number 5 in a series. So, but that's the only one. I really am not a series girl, hence why it took me this far or this long to read Harry Potter. I really enjoy standalone books. So, next question is a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and I actually have quite a few. I have 4 I want to talk about. The first book I actually bought earlier in this vlog, and that is My Friends by Frederick Backman. Obviously, like I just said, I love his writing. I loved A Man Called Ove. I would love to read Beartown, and what is it? Anxious People, I think, is his other book. But I bought My Friends because obviously it's summertime right now, and that book just feels very summery. In My Friends, we follow this girl as she is kind of enticed by this one painting, and in the painting there are these 3 figures of these 3 like teenage boys. Most people don't even notice they're in the painting, and she is just enthralled by them and wants to find out everything she can about those people. And that's essentially what the book is about. And again, kind of like the found family aspect of the book, along with the setting of summer. I think it's going to be a really great book. Also, I don't know if this is out yet. I want to say it is. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, because I feel like I've heard people talk about it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyways, this book, I love V.E. Schwab. I loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I've heard that this is like a sapphic vampire book, and I am so excited. One of my all-time favorite books ever is Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I loved Carmilla, and again, it's a very sapphic, women-focused vampire story. I'm very excited about Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. That one will definitely be one I read more in like October time, but yeah, very excited. Next book that I'm really excited about is by TJ Klune. It's Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. I loved this book. I listened to the audiobook of The House in the Cerulean Sea, and it was just amazing. The characters and the story itself, it's so heartwarming, and it's so fun to be able to like submerge yourself in a world that is fantastical and grown up, but you get to meet these characters that are these creatures and live in this world that has I don't even know, but I really loved it, and I didn't even know he had a sequel come out. I believe it came out last year. I just saw it in Barnes and Nobles one day, and I just knew I had to read it. So that is definitely on my list. And then the last one that I also think came out either very beginning of this year or last year is Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. And this essentially brings us back to Pixie Hollow. And as a kid, I loved Tinkerbell. I loved Pixie Hollow. I loved anything fairies. So as an adult, being able to have another new story about Pixie Hollow, about the fairies there, it just warms my heart, and I feel like this is gonna like heal a part of my inner child. So the next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I'm really not on top of what's coming out. I see new releases, whether it's because I'm browsing Barnes & Nobles and I see a new book that I just didn't realize came out, or from like TikTok, other booktuber people, Instagram, like whatever. that's where I find out about new releases. I don't actively search it out, really. I don't really keep up to date with that, so I don't have a most anticipated new release. The next question is biggest disappointment, and this might be a unpopular opinion. I might get myself into some trouble, but Franny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger. Maybe I'm just dumb and I just didn't get it, or I don't have the attention span for this book, but it's a small book to begin with, and essentially we follow two siblings, Franny and Zoe, and I went into this book completely blind, so I had no clue what I was getting myself into. The first 50 pages is Franny's portion of the book, and then the last, I think it's over 100 pages, is Zoe's part of the book. And I just was a lot more immersed in Franny's portion. We, see her as she travels and visits her boyfriend at his university, and she's just having a really hard time just thinking about the world and how it works and religion and stuff like that. Which I feel like everyone has moments like that. So I really enjoyed the first half, but once we got to Zoe's part, I just lost it. And I just felt very repetitive. It felt really drawn out. I just didn't like it. And I'm so upset because one of my favorite shows, Dash and Lily, right in the first episode, Lily talks about Franny and Zoe, and I was so excited for it. And yeah, I don't know, it just let me down a little bit. And then the next one that I don't want to call it a big disappointment, but I was looking forward to it, and then it kind of did let me down a little bit, and that's Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. This book is not necessarily a sequel. You could read it on its own, but it's very interconnected to the first book, which is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I loved that book. I loved the way he tells the story of the murder mystery and what happens, and I really loved it. And the stakes in that one I feel are so high, and I really loved it. And then this one just kind of let me down. The next question is biggest surprise. The book that I read that really surprised me so far is Hazel Says No by Jessica Berger Gross. This book, I literally just wanted a new audiobook to listen to, had no clue what it was about. The cover looked beachy and kind of summery, so I was like, okay, let's listen to this one. And I started it, and I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but I really loved it. Essentially, we follow Hazel and her family as they move from New York City to Maine. And, that's a big transition, especially for a teenager who lived her whole life in the city. And she's a senior in high school, and she gets called to the principal's office on the first day of school, and that just sends the whole next year into chaos. And that's what I'll leave it at, because that's all that's really said in the synopsis. It's not really, not too much is revealed, and I think that's good. And I really enjoyed it. And the next question is favorite new author, and I really want to say Jessica Berger Gross. I loved her writing style, I loved her voice, I loved her characters, and I'm really excited to see what she comes up with next. So yeah. Another favorite new author, and they're not necessarily new, and not even new to me, but Sarah Penner. She wrote The Lost Apothecary. That was a book that came out a couple years ago that kind of blew up a little bit. And I recently listened to The Amalfi Curse, and I love her style of the dual timelines of, a historical time period and then present day. And I love her use of kind of magic or just kind of a fantasy element in her books. I really just love her storytelling, love her characters, and it always keeps me on the edge of my seat. So I really do love her as well. The next question is newest fictional crush, and if I'm being so honest, I'm not really someone who gets crushes on people in books. I will get I'll have a crush in a TV show or a movie, think someone's cute, or, I like the character that they play, but not really in books. And I don't know. So I don't really have an answer for that question. The next question is newest favorite character. And again, I'm being repetitive, but I have to say Ove. because no other characters that I think of really stand out to me like he does. So Ove from A Man Called Ove, of course. The next question is a book that made you cry. I'm a broken record at this point. I have to say A Man Called Ove because it did make me cry, and I think that's the only book so far this year that made me cry. So yeah. A book that made you happy is the next question. I want to say I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. This book is just a fun time. I feel like it's very relatable. The main character, I can't remember her name right now, but she works in this office and she's just kind of like getting by. She feels like she doesn't fit in. She's content with her life as is, kind of secluded in her apartment, going to work, coming home, not really involving herself with anything happening. And then she kind of gets herself into a bit of trouble, and she kind of has to then be involved with things at work and the people at work, and she creates relationships, friendships, stuff like that. And it's a very unexpected story, and by the end of the book, it's just like, yeah, I'm happy. I liked that story. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I feel like because it's very relatable and she's a flawed character, but she makes her way eventually, I think it's just a fun time. So I do really like that book. And then the last question that I'm gonna read, because the actual last question is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I don't really keep like a too strict TBR. I'm very much a mood reader, so like I can tell you like, oh, I have to read these books by the end of the year, but by the end of the year, those books could have been thrown to the side. So I'm not really going to answer that question. So the last question that I am going to answer is most beautiful book you bought this year. And I actually have 3. They're Harry Potter books, but these books from Mina Lima are gorgeous. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So like just look at that cover, but then you like open it up and there's actually, I still have like protective papers in there, but there's actually like fold out designs, and like there's just so much in here, and it's like interactive. It's just so fun. And they only have made 3 of these so far, so the first 3 books. So I have this one, which is obviously Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and again, it's just so cool. Like, oh my god, look at this. Look at this. Are you kidding me? That's the tree. I can't think of the name right now. They're amazing. And then I do have the last one, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm speechless. So those are hands down the prettiest books I've bought this year. All right, so that is it. That is my mid-year freakout tag. If you liked this vlog and this video, if you want me to talk more about books or whatever, put your video ideas down in the comments because I would love to make videos that you guys want to watch. So yes, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.